right, hello and welcome to the Untitled Film Podcast. This is Connor Reed,
This is Riley Hardy.
and we're here to talk about movies. This is kind of like our tester episode. We're just kind of going to explain what we're wanting to do here and some of our favorite movies and just talk about ourselves a bit too.
We've got our coffee and we're ready to go.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
8:17 in the morning.
Yeah,
Yes,
so,
sir.
yeah, Riley, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, so I'm from Arkansas originally, but I live in Texas now. Went to school with Connor. We first met at the tail end of junior high. We went to high school together and college as well. So we've known each other for a while, and we both share a mutual love of movies and talking about movies. So
Yeah.
it's kind of where we're at, and we're going to get into some of our favorite movies here. But Connor, give us background on you.
Yeah, so as you said, Riley and I went to college and high school together, and then I moved to Arkansas, and whenever I was going into 8th grade and lived in California before that, and, just loved both areas, and so, yeah, we started making films together in high school, and
Yes.
watching movies together, all that fun stuff, and loved talking about it, so we're like, well, why not make a podcast about it? So.
That's right. It's going to be a fun time.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
so I think we might start off by just kind of talking about some of our favorite movies. Do you want to start up, Riley?
Sure, I will. Well, when people usually ask me my favorite movie, usually I say Tarzan. 1999, Disney's Tarzan. Oh yeah, classic. Yeah, I mean, I kind of grew up on that movie, but like I even came to appreciate it more in my later years, just because as my appreciation for film grew, I kind of gained a new appreciation for the movie. It wasn't just kind of VHS that I would play every Saturday,
Yeah.
but it was like this is a really good movie. It's well made, beautifully animated, pretty revolutionary as far as like the animation. They invented new software so that the 2D characters could exist within a 3D environment, and so I just thought that was amazing to look at. And just a great story. I don't know, I actually haven't even read the book, or there's multiple books,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just love the story and love the music, of course. Phil Collins with those power ballads. You'll Be in My Heart, classic.
And all the good drumming and all that sort of
Oh
stuff.
yes,
The jungle
yeah,
beats.
that's
all
right. And
that.
I have a drumming background, so I appreciate the drums. Phil's the master.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorites. On a completely different stroke, To Kill a Mockingbird is another one of my favorites. I did read the book, read it in high school, sophomore year. Read it for class, although it wasn't required, but I think she let us pick novels, but I'd always wanted to read that one, so I picked it.
Yeah. So do you think that you like it more than the book, or that you like the book more?
That's a tough one. I mean, they're both, because I never like to judge a movie based on its book, just because I think it's two completely different mediums.
Definitely.
I think To Kill a Mockingbird, I think the movie is just as good of a movie as the book is a book.
Yeah.
I think they're both outstanding
Classics.
in their own genre, in their own
Yeah.
medium. The book was amazing. I loved it. Just a really sweet, sentimental story. And then the movie, the movie is pretty similar to the book. They changed. There's a few bits and pieces they tweaked here and there, but overall it's pretty original, or pretty faithful to the
Yeah.
to the original one.
Yeah.
Let's see. It started. Gregory Peck. He won the Best Actor Oscar for it. Mary Badham. She was nominated for Best Supporting Actress, and I think at the time she was the youngest ever.
I that sounds about
I
right.
think she's the youngest ever to be nominated, but she didn't win. And then Robert Duvall had his film debut. I think he had maybe done some television before that or something, or some stage. I don't know, or maybe small bits and pieces. I don't know. But that was one of his first roles, and this was 1962. So yeah, beautiful photography is black and white. It won the Oscar for best art direction. Best art direction for black and white. Lawrence of Arabia got best art direction because they were in color. Because back then they had the color Oscar and then the black and white, so they shared that. So, and I haven't seen that one.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, I need to. It's 3.5 hours long.
Yeah. It's totally worth it, though.
I'm sure,
It's
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, I need to just dedicate a Saturday. But so that's a good one. What did I say last time? I think Good Will Hunting has always been near and dear to my heart. That one is just kind of one of the most one of the most real stories. I don't know. You know, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck wrote the movie, won the best original screenplay for it, and I don't know, they were so young when they wrote that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, goodness. I mean, 20s, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Two Boston boys.
that's right, two Bostonians. But yeah, no, it was just great. Robin Williams, and probably one of my favorite performances of his. And it won. I mean, that was his one and only Oscar, I think.
I think so.
Was he ever nominated for anything else?
I think he was nominated for like Dead Poets Society as well, and
That's right. He was very good in that too.
maybe did he win for that, or did he only win
He
for
didn't
Good Will
win.
Hunting?
No. I think
Okay,
Yeah, you're right. He was nominated for Dead Poets Society, but he did not win.
gotcha.
Yeah. So that was a great movie of his.
Yeah.
It was kind of my top 3 that I like to
Mhm.
throw around, talk to people about.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, you know, some of my favorite movies, and like, this is in no particular order. I really love the film Andrei Rublev, which is a Russian film and directed by Andrei Tarkovsky about this, you know, Russian iconographer who creates, you know, these just gorgeous paintings of like Christ and biblical figures and kind of his struggle through faith with that. And it's also just one of the most like gorgeously shot movies ever. It's like, it's in black and white, and I mean,
Say the title again.
Andrei Rublev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Oh, it's just the character's name. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, and it's based on a true story. I don't know like how faithful it is,
Okay.
but Tarkovsky, I mean, liked adapting. I mean, maybe his only other adaptation was Stalker, but he for both and Solaris too. But for all of them, they're kind of like loose adaptations. So it's not
Right.
not really sure how faithful it is. But I mean, it's a pretty interesting film because since
that-
it was made in
Is that one of his more like notable movies? Like,
Yes.
I've never heard of this
yeah,
director before.
he's incredible, but
Okay.
I mean, he's just kind of like a staple of foreign and Russian film, especially. But he was kind of like making like anti-Soviet films, which made him very unpopular in Soviet Russia. So he actually got
Right.
exiled after a while. But it's really interesting watching this because, I mean, first off, you're like looking at it and you're like, man, there's no way that this could have been made in the U.S. just for like the subject matter, scope of things. And then even some of the things they do, like there's this shot in there where there's this barbarian army that's invading this city, and then all of a sudden you see like this horse that's like has blood coming out of it, and like it falls like down like this staircase, and I was like, man, that looked so real. How did they do that? And I looked it up afterwards, and the director just went out and shot it in the neck, and
gosh.
then it fell down. I mean, and just tumbled down the stairs, which is pretty
So
horrifying to
animals
think
were
about.
harmed in the making of this movie.
Yeah, but they said they like justified it because it was like
Is it a
about to
death-
be
an
killed
alien
the
horse?
next day,
Oh.
and turn into glue or whatever, all
The
that.
glue.
That's that's the like horse thing. Like,
I've never heard of that.
oh,
before.
okay. Well,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
But aside from that, it's a very incredible movie and very like touching. It is about like 3 hours long or
Oh,
so,
God.
so it's also a bit of a journey, but it is so worth it. So that's one. I also really love modern movies too. It's not all just like black and white foreign films. So like, I mean, I just love Inception, directed by Christopher Nolan. I mean, that
Who
was
doesn't love that one?
yeah.
Honestly.
that was just one of those ones where like whenever I watched it, I was like, it was kind of one of those things where it like really turned me on to film, and I was like, I really want to make something
That's-
like this, just because you watch it and you feel like there's so much like thought and energy and time put into it, instead of just like
Oh, for sure.
having it be something where the director gets the script and it's like, okay, let's just start sitting down and planning it right now, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
But he worked on this story for like 8 years or something like that, and just kept on forming all of his ideas throughout it, and I just love the dedication that he put into it.
Did he write that, or did he write that with his brother?
Yeah, I think he co-wrote it with Jonathan, because
Okay.
most of the films that they do, they co-write together.
I just wasn't sure if it was on that one too.
Yeah, except I don't think he did Interstellar because Jonathan was working on Westworld at the time, I
Okay.
think. Not 100% positive on that.
Okay.
Um,
Inception, that came out 2010. So we were in
2010.
high school.
yeah, I
We were in
remember
our
that.
Sophomore year of high school, I think.
Didn't see it till it was on DVD though, which was always one of
Really?
the big bummers.
You
Yeah,
didn't see that? I saw it in theaters.
I know, because like my parents were like, "Well, we don't know about it.
Yeah.
We've heard there's some stuff in it," and then like, you know, of course, like as soon as it gets on DVD, they're like, "Oh, you got to watch this," and I was like, "Why couldn't I watch this when it was in theaters?" You know,
DVD of all mediums to watch, the lowest quality.
I know. Well, at least it
Well,
wasn't VHS,
I
you
mean,
know,
yeah.
Laserdisc.
So it would have been, you know, even 7 years earlier, it would have been on VHS.
Yeah.
But yeah, that movie was one of the movies I did not know existed. Like my dad was just like, "Hey, let's go see this movie called Inception." I had heard nothing about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into movies as much at that point, I don't think. But like, man, I went into that movie completely blind. And that's just such a cool experience going in, not knowing what you're getting
Yeah.
into. And
That's
it's
the best way to
like,
do it.
it's just blowing my mind the whole time.
Yeah.
Just that opening, sequence with that conference room and the walls came in on them, or the water rushing.
The water, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of like the same thing for me. I remember talking to you and one of our other friends, Christian Smith, who also just got married last
married.
night. Congratulations. Yeah.
Christian and Madison.
But they had talked about it, and they're like, "Man, you got to see this. This is incredible." But that was basically all I knew, so I kind of went in blind as well, and I was just like, "My goodness," you know, like didn't really know that they could make movies like this just because of like, you know, the groundbreaking visuals in it too. It just like blew my mind, and just like the way that he handles the story and how everything is so deeply put into itself that like every time I watch
integrated
it,
into itself. Yeah. It's like woven. It's like very intricately woven together.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Yeah, and I've seen that movie like a million times, and every time I watch it, I still like learn something new about it, which is, you know, one of my like criterias for like what I think is like a great film. You know, you revisit and you get new things out
Yeah,
of
and
it.
I need to revisit that one because I haven't seen it in a while, and I think our plan with this podcast is, you know, to kind of single in on specific movies. So we'll definitely I'll be watching them before the podcast.
Yeah, almost definitely.
But I haven't seen
Doing our homework.
yeah, we need to do our homework. But I have not seen that one for several years actually, probably since college.
So that one's great, and then I mean, I just love Toy Story 2. Like that was like the first movie I ever saw. Like whenever I was a little kid, you know, I was born in 1995.
See, mine was Tarzan.
Oh,
at least that's
there you go.
that's farther back. Farthest back that I can remember.
Okay.
Seeing. I may have seen something in theaters before that, but
Yeah, see, there's no way that I remember it because I was born in 1995, and my parents decided to take me to theater to go and see it. You know, like
yeah,
right,
it was
like
an intentional decision. We're
Yeah.
gonna see Toy Story 2.
yeah.
First
So I
movie,
mean,
yeah.
I was like probably a couple months old or something like that, and I mean, it's just something that stuck with me. You
A
know,
couple months old.
Yeah, in 1995. Because
Oh, you said Toy Story 2.
did I?
Toy Story 2 came out in 99. Did you mean Toy Story 1?
Yeah, I thought I said Toy Story 1. But yeah, so the first Toy Story in
Okay.
1995, you know, I was just born. My parents just took me to the theater, and you know, which like looking back on it, I'm like, why would you take like an infant to a theater? But you know, I'm fine with
I've
it.
never even heard
so-
that story before.
Oh
That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah, but
It's cool you saw that.
yeah. So that was always a really touching and heartfelt movie for me, and you know, I mean, of course, I had like, you know, the Buzz Lightyear and Woody action figures growing up. Had this phase where I was
The
like,
RC car.
yeah.
I don't know if that had a name.
I think it was just RC.
RC.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right. It was just
yeah.
RC, yeah.
And like, you know, just as many of those toys as I can get my hands on, and I just loved it. It like just resonated with me so much, and I like still to this day it just like touches me. And I mean, it's so groundbreaking too. I mean, like the first feature length 3D animated film, and you know, I mean, you look back on it now and
It
you're
was such
like,
a risk. It was a
yeah.
gamble.
Yeah, I can't believe that they were able to pull that off.
It was similar. It was very similar in ways to Snow White because like people didn't think back in the day that people were gonna sit and watch a cartoon for an hour and a half. You know, it was like people like cartoons are meant to be quick and you know,
Yeah.
grab your attention fast, but not hold it very long. You know, it's
Yeah.
like people didn't really take it seriously. And, but of course, Snow White was a monumental success, and so it was similar to it in that ways. And people kind of said that about 3D animations, like people aren't going to watch this because there had been lots of 3D shorts. You know,
Yeah.
but they hadn't done, you know, feature length, and so it was kind of revolutionary at the time too. And obviously, it was a big success.
Yeah, yeah.
So, pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, just love that movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's still one of my favorites. And-
I have it on VHS.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I think I have the first and second one. But
Yeah.
too bad they didn't release a third on VHS.
No, I think they stopped making VHSs in like
Way before.
2005 or 6 is when they
Okay.
officially like stopped.
See, I thought it was earlier than that. Actually.
No, there's like you can buy The Incredibles on VHS,
no,
and even The
way.
Village. You can buy The Village on VHS.
Huh.
Yeah, of course that's like 2004. So maybe 2004 was last year.
Okay.
2004 or 5. I don't
That
know.
makes sense. Yeah, very interesting. Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
so
So that's 3 for you.
yeah, so those are some of our favorite movies, and I mean, just kind of our goal with this podcast is just kind of have fun and really go in depth with these films, and we want to like try to pick a theme and like kind of go through and make like a couple episodes centered around that theme, and each episode will focus on one film in particular. We would just really want to go in depth with it and look at all the technical aspects of it and just the film as a whole, and even look into the film theory behind it, and just really go deep into each one and just talk about, you know, why we love the movie, or we might even talk about movies that we don't like but still appreciate, or whatever flows in the vein of our topics.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time.
It is, yeah. Well, I think that wraps it up for
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
episode 0. Yeah, thank you very much, and see you later.